Welcome to Front Office, where athlete entrepreneurs take their talents from the field to the boardroom. Presented by UBS. Today, we're in Los Angeles, California, where two on-the-rise companies will pitch and compete in hopes of securing an investment from a retired NBA superstar. Throughout the process, the entrepreneurs will be coached by someone who knows a thing or two about both the professional athlete world and building your investment portfolio.
I'm Wale Ogunleya, Head of Sports and Entertainment at UBS. After playing 11 years in the NFL, I've seen firsthand how professional athletes can use their resources to build an empire away from sports and change lives along the way. Today, we'll be joined by NBA All-Star and Olympic gold medalist, Deron Williams. Deron was one of the most dominant guards of his era.
Williams crosses over and crushes it.
You're gonna stand there and just watch him dunk on you?
Deron is always looking for the next big opportunity. Let's see how he handles his business in a front office boardroom.
We're headed up to UBS today to hear a couple business pitches, see if there's any investment opportunities for me to jump into. My team that I brought today is very small. It's just me and my buddy Bryce, who I've known since he was 12 years old. We're good. I'm really good friends with his dad and his mom. Rest in peace to his mom. But yeah, I mean, somebody that I trust, somebody that's very, very smart, very, very business savvy. Is also in the tech world, so you know, he kind of gives me the best of both worlds. I mean, you're reading the people first. I think when you're listening to business pitches, you know, you're seeing if it's somebody that you'd want to get in business with, somebody you feel like you could trust. You know, that's generally a good person. And then, you know, do they know what they're talking about? Do they have a good direction, good sense of direction for what they want to do? And, you know, can they communicate that? And do they have the answers? You want somebody that has all the answers, not a lot of what ifs, and just kind of knows what they're talking about. I decided to do the front office because I felt like it was a unique opportunity, you know, giving athletes this type of platform where they can, you know, they can come on a show and they can hear business pitches from people who are looking to raise money and raise capital and also use your connections, and you're trying to use your connections as well. Man, what's happening?
Good seeing you again.
How you doing?
How's everything?
Good. How you doing?
Welcome to UBS.
Appreciate it.
Bryce is waiting for you in the boardroom. Let's go see what he's talking about.
All right, sure. It's good.
How we doing?
I'm chilling, man. How you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. How we doing?
Fantastic.
What we got today, man? What you got for me?
We got UCam to start. It's a personal camera. Check it out. All the materials. It's a wearable little camera for live sports, it looks like.
Okay.
And I guess you hook it to whatever you're wearing.
Sham God, Meta World Peace on here. A couple basketball guys.
Strong.
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
We're also looking at Kicks World today. They are a sneaker rental company that allows you to try before you buy. So I think you try them on and you know, you wear them for a couple months and you return them if you want something new. So.
All right, well, let's send the first ones in.
Let's do it. Can I have that deck? I might need that. Thank you, sir.
First, we have a technology company who hopes to capture everyday life in a new way.
My name is Rashawn Allen, co-founder and co-CEO of More Vision Technologies, and our product UCam that we'll be presenting to the world today.
My name is Alejandro Bergimov, co-founder, co-CEO of More Vision Technologies. We met 5 years ago. Went to the same film school, New York Film Academy.
You know, he was just telling me some of the things he had going on, and it was just like, it kind of sounded like we had some synergy. We ended up working on some of the same projects. We ended up hosting our own production team, garnering our own funding for feature film, and finance, produce, and distribute our own debut feature film independently. And around the time we was finishing rolling out our feature film, we knew we wanted to take whatever we can get from that and put it into the entertainment tech space.
How we got the idea specifically for UCam, it was last June anniversary of that game where LeBron hit the block on Iguodala. Everybody has seen it, you know, and that's when the light bulb popped above my head like in cartoons, you know. I'm thinking, hold on, we're working on the camera concept. Why don't we put a camera in the jersey? I called him, started like, yo, LeBron Iguodala Game 7 Finals, imagine putting the camera in the jersey and this and that. I'm going crazy.
People get it confused. I think innovations just change. But innovation is truly about how much you can actually make an industry better and make the lives around that industry, the demographic around that, better.
Ali and Rashawn, along with the team at UCAM, are working to break the fourth wall of media. They're looking to disrupt the wearable camera industry and to provide a new and more practical user experience. But with major players already in the space, do they have what it takes to compete?
Gentlemen,
What's going on, man?
dogs.
Nice to meet
Pleasure.
you, man. Nice to meet you.
Welcome to UBS.
Thank you.
You guys excited for this pitch?
Absolutely.
Let's head to the bullpen and let's talk about some things. Come on.
Look, guys, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too.
1,000%.
1,000%. Always.
But before you guys go into the boardroom, I got a few things I want to go over. First, market advantage. Explain to us how your platform will change the game for creators. UCAN will offer an impressive package of creator services. Highlight those benefits that allow creators to subscribe and allow them to produce high-quality content. Also, let's talk about your robust tech. Speak to the features your CAM will offer, such as the size, usability, and battery life. Don't be afraid to take a deep dive into all of your features. You're also going to want to hit the scalability of your business, especially as the tech landscape continues to evolve. And finally, licensing. How can your tech be applied to other partners? And how can this company make more money in the long run? Well, you guys ready to get in there?
Always ready.
I'm excited for you. And I'll be here when you get out.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Why are we excited to pitch to Deron Williams today? Honestly, we want to build this company because it's, we were kicking it off in the basketball space and the sports space. We couldn't imagine a better partner.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up on them. It was Chris Paul and Deron. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's a full circle moment.
How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
Nice. Well, we're excited to have you guys and hear what you guys have for us. So go ahead.
My name is Rashawn Allen,
My name is Alejandro Bergimov.
and we are the co-founders and co-CEOs of UCAM, a one-of-one wearable smart camera meant to break the fourth wall of media. My background in particular, born and raised New York, born in Queens, raised in Long Island to Brooklyn. And I was raised by a mother that was an activist. So from the time I was young, I was community organizing, civically engaged, and I was involved with the NAACP from a young age. By the time I was a senior in high school, I grew to be one of the top players in New York in basketball. And around my time of being in high school, my mother, she had me participate in a national high school competition called AXO, where I wrote a play. I ended up winning a gold medal on the local level and the national level for what I wrote. So that made me realize I could do something past, playing ball, rapping, or being outside, which is the stigma that is plagued on us from where we're from. So I rerouted and I decided to move to LA and go to film school at 19. And this is where I met this guy first week.
Yeah, and while he was doing that, I was living a completely different life. I kind of wrote a little video game story. I wanted to make a video game. Got that out the way, and I was like, you know what, I actually want to make this. Got a little prototype done, and now I needed $1 million to get the game done. That was a little difficult to achieve at 15, so I kind of put that on ice. And I came out to LA as well, which is where I met him with filmmaking aspirations. I came to the same film school, and that's why our journey began.
Yeah, we ended up having our own production teams, garnering our first investment for our debut feature film, our first year in LA.
Once that was done, we wanted to try new things. Camera concept came to our mind, and we was workshopping it for like a good 4, 5, 6 months. And then last June, it was the anniversary of that game where LeBron had the block on Iguodala. You guys definitely know that. I'm like, man, this is so crazy for me to see as a fan from a faraway perspective. From a camera, I can only imagine what it actually felt like being Bron in that moment.
We were always trying to figure out how we can incorporate what we want to do with tech to change lives. And when he said this, that's when things started correlating.
Yeah. So picture this. Once we came up with this is what we imagined. We're gonna show a quick little video if that's okay.
All right.
Here's what we imagined when that thought came about. This is acting, by the way. He didn't really drive.
What is this shot with?
Our prototype. As you can tell, it's a little flawed still because it's still a prototype. But that's kind of what we envisioned, right? It needs to be a little more stabilization working out on, that part of the thing. I'd say, once we put the video on the screen and I seen the little eyebrow raise, like, okay, you know, that was good to
That's all
see.
you needed, yeah.
It's good to see. So,
And it's still surreal right now. It's definitely like our entire careers thus far has been behind the camera.
yeah.
It's definitely a new turn,
Yeah.
but like once we get rolling, we get rolling. So
But that's what we imagined, right? We imagined seeing the game from this perspective, effortlessly, seamlessly.
Right.
And when we came up with the idea, two questions we asked ourselves was, first of all, why isn't it possible today? And how can we make it possible today, right? Why it isn't possible today is because there's simply not a single action camera in the market space that works without accessories. What they came up with is a necklace. It's magnetic, right? You can imagine, you play basketball, somebody's gonna foul you, and this is gonna fly off.
their niche is adventure vlogging, but our application is made for basketball, football, soccer, things of that nature.
And how we can make it possible is UCam right here. So we have a little 3D print of what the final camera model is gonna look like. Out of the box, this is what you have in your pocket. How it works is two parts, as you can see. Front camera module on the back, battery module. And this is it right here. Here's how it works, pretty much like an earring, right? Front piece, back piece, this goes in the back, and it just pins on. Pretty much the entire experience is, you know, it doesn't fly off. It's triple lock system, magnets, pins, and the inner security ring. But we didn't want to just stop there once we came up with this. Camera lens, as you guys know, captures a flat image. It captures image in 2D. We have a LiDAR scanner incorporated, which is a technology used by, you know, most notably Tesla's iPhones these days. It scans the environment in 3D and creates a depth map. So besides that, the camera can shoot 4K up to 240 FPS, 160 degree ultra wide view. It's going to be the second lightest camera, and of course, it's going to have a cooling system, battery padding, so it's a comfortable wear for an athlete.
This is the only camera that can be applied with no outside accessories. Audio communication between the camera to the UCam app. We feel our technology surrounding our app can actually correlate in a way where we provide first-person content. You know, for the first time, you can go on an app and you can now have exclusive content be in subscription or driven to live streaming and group chats and audio, video group chats as well. There's a lot of different applications we want to apply to it, but that'll just be the initial version. You can have a recording and storage hub, and you can take your first-person content and monetize it.
So what we're doing is we're raising $1.5 million at a $10 million valuation. You can see the projections. I'm sure you guys got the deck, probably raised your eyebrows with $375 million. As far as our ask, we'd love to obviously have you on board. Before we say anything about this, our philosophy is if there's a will, there's a way, right? So all of this is negotiable, of course, but we'd love to raise $250,000 with you on a safe note and throw in some bonus equity on top.
It's no hiding who you are, right? You know what I mean? We respect everything you've done as a man in your career, and we understand that if you come in and come on board with us now as a unit, we could build something together that no other company has been able to do to this day.
I really like the industry that UCam is in, with hardware, with cameras. I think there's a big market for that right now, and there's a lot of money to be had in it. So can we actually put our hands on the prototype to check it out, to see it? I kind of wanted to feel it, see it. You know,
this is a 3D print. This is not what the final camera is actually going to be like. You want me to? You'll figure it out. Actually, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Up next, Deron and his team take a closer look at UCam's product.
So say this is in my chest. Right. I get hit in the chest. What's going to stop that from bruising your chest?
Right.
Now that Deron's got the product in his hand, he has a lot more questions about its functionality.
It is actually a little close to the actual weight it's going to be as well.
It's going to be this weight? That's because that's the one thing I was wondering is weight.
How heavy is it going to be?
Yeah.
Trick clip that on.
Also,
See, it's got some move.
You know what's beautiful too? Because this battery piece is interchangeable, we could make sacrifices in size, so the battery life could be shorter, but we can make it smaller. So, yeah.
Maybe jump up and down a little bit. See.
No, I ain't jumping up and down. You jump up and down. So, I mean, like a couple things about the design that I guess I'm just wondering is basketball is a physical sport.
Right.
Football, definitely physical sport. Most of these sports, I saw boxing on there. I happened to do a boxing match. Physical sport, right? So two things is what's going to stop it from ripping. Then also like impact, right? So say this is in my chest. Right. I get hit in the chest, which is very common. What's going to stop that from, one, ripping off the jersey, but also bruising your chest?
Right. So to the bruising part, there's going to be a battery padding. So it's going to be almost like a soft pillow on your chest. I mean, on the battery that's going to touch your chest or whatever compression shirt you wear.
You mind if I jump in with one?
Oh, sure, yeah.
So hardware is really hard, and camera hardware is really, really hard. And GoPro took over a decade to get it really right. What makes you think you're going to jump in here and develop something that outcompetes some of these brands and legacy brands when it's so hard to go from good to great and stabilization, all these things?
Well, the beautiful thing about that is we're living in a time where we're not really inventing a time machine here, right? So there's a lot of technology available. So how we like to put this is we're kind of doing it, and not to compare us to the example I'm about to give, but we're kind of doing what Steve Jobs did with iPhone. He didn't invent a cell phone, right? He just designed it and packaged it in a way like nobody else did before. Here's what we're doing here with this product. We're taking existing technology and just putting it together like nobody else did before.
So my question then is, why doesn't GoPro put a magnet on the back?
On their camera?
Yeah.
Well, their camera is too big. Their camera is twice the...
But the small new Hero is like this.
No, we haven't.
So the biggest critic right now is definitely his advisor. And and that's his job, you know what I mean? So we expect that, we prepare for that, and this is something we actually enjoy. You know, we want to see what somebody could say to kind of, cause friction on our part and see what, we may be lacking. But it's important that he does a job in that way so we can show what we know about our product and our acumen to what we're developing.
So when they see you guys, why are they not going to throw a magnet on the back and say, we got the hardware?
Magnets is already a thing, and magnets is not secure as is. Our protection is magnets, pins, and the interlock system, right? So which is keeping everything in place together. Magnets is not safe. Magnets, like, Deron, you're asking about, ripping off the jersey. Magnet, you could just swipe and it's going to fly off.
Yeah,
right?
That's the point, and that's the point. We know that we actually have a forecast to where we know there will be a new emerging market in wearable smart cameras. Yeah. We already see that for the foreseeable future, for the next 3 to 7 years, and what it's going to look like is we're going to come out with this product, and we're actually going to scale from a hardware and digital aspect, being with everything we're creating on the software side of things, and it's going to show that there's a new avenue to generate revenue from a camera.
I know as an athlete, like, I was always looking for my flaws, right? What I needed to improve on, what I need to get better at.
Right.
Are there any flaws that you are targeting right now that you could see being an issue right now with this model?
With this product?
Yeah.
As you've seen in this current video, stabilization is one thing we're continuously, improving on.
I was going to say, because I was a little dizzy watching.
Right. Yeah, no, and again, it's a
like,
prototype.
oh, shoot.
Yeah, so we're keeping it real. It still needs work, and that's why we're still raising. If it was the final product, we probably wouldn't be in this room.
Yeah. What's the cost to produce this, to get this thing done, to get it to a working, functioning product?
One unit, it would be between $80 to $90 to manufacture. We still believe we can get it lower. And to develop this is worth $1.5 million for pretty much production. That's going to give us enough runway for 15 months.
And what do you sell them for?
$250 to $300.
Ali and Rashawn did a good job telling the story behind UCAM. They really outlined the scale of the market and the opportunity at hand. But I think they could have been a little more clear on their roadmap and timeline, along with the overall differences their product has in the market.
All right, fellas. Well, we appreciate you coming in, pitching to us. I think we're gonna talk a little bit, make some decisions, and we'll get back to you guys.
We appreciate you guys' time. Truly.
Thank you.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
I'd say, we pitched with confidence. We answered every question with confidence. They seem like they like us, where we are. But looking at this from their perspective, I could see why they'd have concerns. Either way, however this turns out, we're just grateful to even, meet this man and just have the time of day to, have a conversation about our product and our vision.
Next, we have a fashion company who's ready to capitalize on a hot and growing market.
My name is Brian Mupo, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Kicks. Kicks was created really out of my own behavior. I started buying and selling shoes because I really wanted to wear the shoes, and this was a justification to be able to do so. I could lay the cash for any pair that I really wanted to purchase. I'd wear them a handful of times, wear them until I was tired of wearing them, and then I would liquidate. And sometimes sell for profit, sometimes loss, didn't really matter. In essence, what I was doing was engaging in a super time-consuming and super capital-intensive rental model. Yeah, the business was created when we looked around and saw that I was not alone in engaging in this behavior. That really there was a whole generation of kids who were doing the same thing. Much like Airbnb and Uber are now the way, I want people to remember this business as the way.
Brian is trying to completely revolutionize sneaker culture with kicks. He's ready to change the game when it comes to sneaker ownership and distribution. Now, Brian has tapped into a thriving market, but he'll need to show Deron exactly how he's going to scale and monetize in the future to win an investment.
What's up, man?
Welcome to UBS.
Thank you so much.
Excited. Are you excited?
I'm extremely excited.
Let's head into the bullpen and talk about some things.
Let's do it.
Come on. All right, Brian, I'm really excited to see you get in there and get after it. But I'd like you to have a few key points to go in there that may help you with your pitch. First, let's talk about the customer journey. Walk us through the process for someone who's using the system. What does the timing look like for selecting the shoe? And then repeating the process. Next, you're gonna wanna hit logistics. How are you guaranteeing that these shoes are in prime condition? And how do you achieve product consistency? Also, let's talk marketing. Given the sneaker community is crowded with multiple players, how do you plan to expand your platform and reach the growing sneaker community? How much do they want to spend? What kind of sneakers do they want? You should really dive deep. And finally, accessibility. Your service is unique. As the first sneaker subscription platform, expand on the idea of accessibility and how you're providing the greater community access to premium shoes. All right, Brian, you ready to get going?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'll be here when you get out.
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead. Good luck in there.
Appreciate it. I'm excited to pitch to Deron Williams because he is Deron Williams, and what a sick experience, what a sick opportunity to create a strategic partnership with an elite athlete and an elite entrepreneur. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
How we doing?
I'm doing very well.
Tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brian Mupo. I am the CEO and co-founder of Kicks. Kicks is the limited release sneaker subscription platform. Got a little video I want to show.
Let's check it out.
We all know the feeling. Being hyped for months, seeing them on social media, wanting them so bad. And then, you take the L. It must be all those kids with bots.
The system seems kind of rigged.
What if there was a new way to get the latest heat? Whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. Introducing Kicks World, the monthly sneaker subscription built just for you. Kicks World. The world is yours.
Kicks is democratizing access to limited release sneakers. We're democratizing access to looking good, to feeling good, and to creating that burst of confidence that is just simply effervescent. So what's the problem here? We've got a broken system where really prices are out of control. And because prices are out of control, it's made it so that most consumers can't get what they want. They simply can't get what they want. The Jordans, the Yeezys, all the shoes that we are used to really being, that have become sort of ubiquitous in this society, those are the shoes that we're providing. And again, we do it under a subscription rental platform. The idea behind that is to be able to democratize access to these shoes, to make it so that you can wear one pair of fly shoes on Tuesday. By Thursday, you're moving right into your clean Air Force Ones, and then date night, Saturday night, you go with those.
Cool. So how's it work? You try them and send them back in, or how does it work?
Yeah.
Coming up, Deron and his team want to know how fresh Brian's kicks really are.
You're loaning these shoes out to people, right?
Yep.
From all over the place. Don't know where their feet have been, what they smell like. You know, what's the remedy for that?
Brian has to convince Deron and his team that there's no limit to kicks.
Cool. So how's it work?
Yeah, so how it works, super simple. A subscriber will come in, they'll elect to have between 1 and 3 shoes sent to them at a time. And there's a total budget that's associated with each level. So for example, like a level 3 subscriber, diamond subscriber comes in, has 3 shoes sent to them at once for a total budget of $1,500. And when that subscriber gets the shoes, wears the shoes, has fun in the shoes, enjoys the shoes, at the end, when they're finished, they can elect to either swap out the shoes for new ones, or they can elect to purchase the shoes. And we derive sort of upside revenue from the sale of shoes.
Where do you guys get your shoes?
So most of our shoes are actually sourced on secondary markets. We realize a bit of a savings to sort of like the average bear, the average consumer. But the majority of what we get is essentially the same way as a consumer would. We don't have a specific plug or a source that, gets us discounted merchandise. That may happen at some point, but it was really important for us to be able to prove out the unit economics if we always had to buy on the secondary market. We wanted to make sure, hey, if we have to buy on the secondary market, we're still going to make the margins work.
Essentially, you're loaning these shoes out to people, right?
Yep.
From all over the place. You don't know where their feet have been, what they smell like, what kind of fungus they have on them. What's the remedy for that?
Yeah, so every shoe that comes back to us goes through a 10-stage cleaning process. And so to answer your question directly, we take all of the insoles out, we disinfect the insoles, and then we use something that's called UVC light, and that entirely deodorizes the shoe and also kills 99.99% of germs.
And then I was gonna say, you wear shoes, you get the creases, you get scuffs, you get all those things. Scuffs, I guess you can paint, you can fix those things. But the creases, right? That's like a big thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing, right?
It's a big thing in the sneaker game, especially when you got Travis Scott.
And we can't send out shoes that are anything worse than, let's say, like an 8.5 out of 10. So we're entirely attuned to that. The magic is in the shoe cleaning. In about 8-9 minutes per shoe, we can rehab a shoe from a 6.5, 7 all the way back up to a 9 that can go back out to a subscriber. In terms of the creasing, there are some proprietary things that we can do. You can iron creases.
Really?
For real. But use a small, very, very, very small iron.
Good trick.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
I think they've been most receptive to the answers that we provided about cleaning the shoes, sanitizing the shoes. The reality is that these shoes come out in very much like new condition, and I think they know and understand that.
Are these used?
These are all used. All of these
They're all used.
Can we see some of those?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Take a couple of these.
You're probably better for this than I am, but
Here, check these out. You got these in a 13 though?
As long as they're 12, we're good.
These will pair well with this right here.
We'll offline on that.
These will pair well with this right here, huh?
Yeah.
I'm kind of good with these.
Yeah.
Money. So how's business been going so far? You guys launched when? What's kind of the high level?
So we began generating revenue December of 2020. Our trailing 12-month revenue is about $2.8 million. Since inception, our revenue is about $4.5 million.
And profitable now? Yes.
No, we're still burning.
Gotcha. What's your burn rate right now?
Yeah, we're burning about $120K a month.
Okay, $120K a month. And that's mostly towards?
It's mostly towards customer acquisition and then inventory to support said customer acquisition.
What does it cost you to get a customer?
It costs about $130 to acquire a customer.
And their value?
The lifetime value post-margin is about $275. So the LTV to CAC is a little over 2. Again, that's post-margin.
Yeah.
Our margin is about 50%.
My first impression of Kicks was honestly, because I had been in a similar business that was a subscription-based business. And so it made me a little nervous at first. What makes you different than anybody else, and is it something that could easily be replicated? Because you look at StockX came out, and then there's GOAT, who is a competitor of that. Is there anything that separates you or makes you different?
Yeah, I think that there are a few things. I think we have quite a bit of IP at this point and quite a bit of domain expertise. If somebody wanted to come in from the ground and wanted to do this, one, they would likely need a lot of capital. Number two, they would need to relearn all of the horrible lessons we had to learn. So, for example, when we started, it took us a half an hour to clean a pair of shoes. That's pretty unsustainable. It now takes us about 8 minutes to clean a pair of shoes. Totally a margin maker for us.
You look 3-5 years down the line. Ideal scenario for you, where is Kicks?
Great question. So a couple of things. Number one, we would vertical into things that are not just the sneakers, but the entire outfit. People generally can get their heads around spending $500 on a pair of shoes, but $1,000 hoodie is like a harder thing for, reasonably so, for most people to get their head around. And so by being able to offer the entire outfit, number one, we'll be able to capture more revenue per user, and then we'll vertical properly that way. And beyond that, we would look towards like leather goods, watches. Again, once we have the domain expertise.
We have a funny watch story.
Yeah, I get PTSD from this model because I was involved in a company, partnership-wise, that their model was wash rentals, high-end wash rentals, and they just took about 4 or 5 years, but they went under.
R.I.P.
Yeah, they went under. So
a $500 shoe you expect to rent out how many times? Like, how do you think about a shoe per investment? How do you think about that?
Excellent question. So we are able to get 6 wear months out of a shoe on average before it needs to be retired.
when you retire it, what does that look like? Are you then selling them to
we're then selling
secondhand, guys
absolutely.
that can refurbish them? And
well, we are able, and one of sort of the secret sauces here is that we are able to capture about 65% of what we paid for the shoe when it needs to be liquidated. I think to win their investment, we just need to continue this train. We need to be energetic and really just show them that that we are a great ownership group.
I guess the question for me is why are we sitting at this end of the table? Why me as an investor, as a partner, and what are you looking for right now?
We are looking to raise $300K in exchange for 2% equity in the company.
Which comes out to what?
It's about a $15 million valuation.
It's like a sort of a bridge round.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a bridge round. It is something that is entirely strategic. So we are running kind of far down the line with some of the larger manufacturers for more strategic relationships, which may or may not include investment. And so we want to open up this round to be able to harness all of that.
Brian was able to show that his company can completely disrupt the existing sneaker ecosystem and create a path towards profitability. Although I think he could have been a little more elaborate on his own personal background and why he's the right person to get the job done. Most investors care more about the jockey than the horse, so to speak. I hope that he was able to convey that enough to sell himself to Deron.
All right, well, thanks for coming in. I think we got a lot to talk about. Some decisions to be made, and we really appreciate it, though.
Appreciate you guys. I believe the pitch went well. That was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun. I think they asked some great questions, and I think that we had some pretty good answers to everything that they were looking for.
After the break, Deron and his team weigh the pros and cons of both companies.
I feel like they're very ambitious.
But with the valuation?
And I feel like their valuation is very ambitious.
Would you use this?
Me? I'd have to think about it.
As Deron and his team try to come to a decision, Wale sits with the two teams as they await their fates.
While they deliberate, we're going to wait out here and wait for Deron's text. But in the meantime, I want to go over some things that I saw in your pitches. Let's start with you, Cam. First, I think you could have been a little more clear. I love the energy and passion you have. However, I would like to see the pitch condensed down to the most important points. What do the investors want to know about you two as the founders and the product you have developed? Next, how your product is different. You have so many ideas and visions for this product. Next time, let's try to focus more on what's going to make your product special. We also need to talk about the valuation. Typically, valuations are backed by revenue. While you have shown some great growth targets, the valuation may be slightly aspirational. But overall, I love your passion and your enthusiasm. I can tell it resonated inside the room, and they loved you guys as entrepreneurs. There's obviously some problems in the camera market that you two are looking to solve. Overall, guys, great effort. I thought it went well, and I'm excited to see what they say.
D, what do we think of this thing overall?
It's interesting. I think, I like the guys. I feel like I like, what they stand for. I feel like they're very ambitious.
But with the valuation?
And I feel like their valuation is very ambitious. I see a couple problems with the design, as being a former athlete, former basketball player, they're saying this thing is going to weigh this weight, but there's no technology inside it. It's a 3D model, which is about as light as it can be. I don't see that being, possible, and I feel like this is an injury waiting to happen, especially if you're wearing it on your chest.
If you get a shoulder there.
You get a shoulder from Joel Embiid, you're done.
You're done.
Your
sternum shattered.
Your sternum is cracked. Yeah, I mean.
Do you see a world where this is a cool feature in the NBA where people are running around and getting filmed?
I would say right now I don't see it happening, but look how far the game has come, and since I retired, 5 years before that, the game's grown, tech is growing, tech is everywhere.
Top shots.
I'm not saying there's not. With VR, with things like that, I see this, especially with kids, young kids, it being a problem. With me at 38, I get dizzy looking at the video. Look, that was a problem for me.
If they have a design patent on a great magnet and they go to GoPro or any of the big camera companies, they go and they say, hey, look, we've got this magnet. It's gonna, they already have light cameras, so why not just sell the magnet? I don't understand.
Like they said, they're not reinventing the wheel. But
they want to reinvent the wheel.
But they want to reinvent the wheel.
Some people like to reinvent the wheel.
And so I think that's, that's an issue. But I do see the use for it. I see the use for it, and I feel like it's a non-contact sport.
Yeah. Golf.
Feature, golf, tennis, extreme sports. I could see it, but then at the same time, why not just go get one of these other cameras with the attachment,
With the attachment.
Does it really need to be on your body?
All right, Brian, let's talk about kicks. I think you could have made an even stronger case why your company is positioned for success. I also think you should have hit your personal story more. You can clearly talk valuations and numbers, but it would be nice to hear your personal story as well. Highlight your shared passion for sneakers and how it inspired your journey. Also, you could have gone a little deeper on a business model. As an entrepreneur, you have an awesome story to tell, especially how your own experience led to creating this business model. Dial up why you think this business model is better positioned to win. I also think you did a great job of explaining how a customer's shoes will be cleaned. That really alleviated Deron's concerns. But I think you could have done a better job pointing out your core target and highlighting the potential for families and young consumers. In short, I think you made a great business case. And you mentioned you already have some high-profile partners. But you could have dialed up why Deron would make sense as a premier partner. But overall, I think you did a great job.
So, D, what do we think about kicks?
I like it. It's a good model. I do get a little PTSD, because it is the same model as the watch company I was involved in, but it's a lot different. The shoe game right now is exploded. It's through the roof. And it has the potential to reach a lot of people who can't afford to pay $1,500 for shoes. And so I think I like that.
Would you use this?
Me? I'd have to think about it. I think about it because it's hard for me to get shoes. The shoes that I love, you don't know when they're coming out, number one, and when they do, they're snatched up within 5 minutes. And I'm an Air Max guy. I can't even get my Air Max anymore. I can't get a hold of them.
So you might subscribe.
So I might subscribe because every time if I do want a pair of Air Max, I'm shelling out $400, $500, $600, and I'm not really interested in that.
So what do you think about the guy at the helm?
I liked him. I liked where he's coming from. I think he's done, a good job, and to have revenue, this quickly. I think he's on the right track. What'd you think?
I feel like they have a similar problem to the Airbnb problem. At the beginning, everyone said, "Who's going to stay in someone else's house?" And now you do it without thinking about it. Yeah. So if they can cross that barrier of, "Hey, I can wear someone else's shoes even though they've been worn before," I think their cost to acquire customers goes way down. I think the virality of just the general chat will boost their business to another level if they can get over that hurdle of, I'm wearing someone else's kicks.
Do you think that cost to acquire customers is the biggest drawback right now?
Yeah, my biggest worries would be twofold. Number one is, do the big manufacturers of the world start to implement programs like this so they see this thing take off, right? And their cost to acquire customers is going to be a lot lower. Number two is, I think it's the educational hurdle that I spoke about, which is, are people going to get their head there? And maybe we already have. I don't know if you have already got your head around.
There's a little concern, putting your I go to a bowling alley and
no one says anything about it. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't. I bought my own bowling shoes.
Oh, there you go.
But everybody can't afford to do that. Right. Everybody can't go that route. But yeah, I don't really love putting my feet in other people's shoes.
He wants, is it $300,000 at a $15 million cap? Is that right?
Yep, 2% stake.
2% stake. He's got $4 million in revenue. He's proved that they can sell it. He hasn't proved they can become profitable yet, but he says at 5,000 subs, he gets there.
What were they at right now?
2,500, 2,200, I think. I'm gonna check. I mean, look, you're betting on does this model catch on as language mainstream? Do people in the sneaker community say, hey, do you rent those or do you buy those?
Do you admit to renting them? If you do the subscription, do you admit?
Do you say these are rentals?
Yeah, do you say
like cars?
Or do you say, I bought this?
Great question. So you think we know what we're gonna do? Do you feel you lean in one way or another?
I think so. I think we're ready. I think we know what we're gonna do. Let's bring them back in.
All right, let's do it.
Overall, I'm really proud how both companies pitched today. You held your own in there. And there goes the text from Deron. No more talking for me. The moment of truth has arrived. I'm right behind you guys.
When we return, we'll find out which of these companies will be partnering with Deron and his team.
All right, gentlemen. Seems like we have a decision.
Yeah, I think we came to a decision.
It's time for Deron's decision. Will he partner with UCAM or Kicks?
All right, gentlemen. Seems like we have a decision.
Yeah, I think we came to a decision. We really appreciate both of you guys coming out here. And UCAM, we're gonna start with you guys. Brian, could you maybe wait out for us for a minute?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Fellas, we really appreciate you guys' time. We love what you guys are doing, love what you stand for. I just think at this time right now, with the direction we're trying to go, that it's just not a really good fit for us. And we wish you nothing but the best. Good luck.
Fortunately or unfortunately, we've done heard no's many times before, so I'm phased. Just grateful to be here.
Pre-seed, this is a big project to grasp, you know what I mean? So
for sure.
We understand. If you're only used to making a certain kind of investment, this will probably seem like some catastrophic stuff to you. You know what I mean? What we're trying to get off of this project.
For sure.
But, I guess it's safe to say this is going to be one of the greatest comeback stories of all time.
Ryan, how we doing? Good. So we really loved hearing from you. I think you covered a lot of our questions, but we talked for a little bit, and I think Bryce had just a few, one or two follow-up questions, if you don't mind.
First, I just want to check that the offer you threw out was $300,000 at $15 million valuation. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I guess first question, how did you arrive there? I'm looking at the stats here. You have that the sneaker market is $10 billion. Where do you put the rental market? How are you thinking about the valuation, and how do you cut that up?
The entire sneaker market, that's the limited release sneaker market, is projected to be about a $10 billion industry. We believe that total addressable market there are about 40 to 50 million users of secondary platforms. And so we look at then what are the percentage of those people who would be willing to do things like wear used shoes. So that segments the market a little bit. And then we look at the percentage of people who would be willing to do sort of like a rental platform, segmenting the market further. Our belief is that the limited release sneaker game for rental could be about as big as maybe a $500 million endeavor.
That's 5% of that market?
Yeah, about 5% of that market, exactly.
From primary research, or how did you arrive there?
Yeah, so that was done, very much through primary research, very much done through various and sundry analysis, a lot of financial modeling, and that's how we arrived at about 5%.
I think where we're at right now is what we're kind of offering, to start negotiations is we'd be willing to do $100,000 plus sweat at that same 2% stake, just because I think 300 is a little high, without any proven profit. And so, I do, being a retired athlete, I have a lot of time on my hands right now. I have a lot of resources. I'm already, kind of wheels were already kind of spinning of people that I know that I could put you in contact with. I think that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So what I would counter with would be 150K at 1.5 points. Look, we definitively want you involved, absolutely. My intention here is to make a deal for sure. Give me a second.
All right, so you countered at 150. We'd be willing to do 125. We feel like it's great.
That same percent and a half.
At the same percent and a half. Yeah.
Point and a half. It's serious. We got a deal, man.
That's good stuff, man. Congratulations.
And it's really great validation of what we're doing, number one. Number two, the strategic upside is huge. For Deron to make introductions, for him to put his face out in front of this is enormous for us.
I'm excited to partner with Kicks because I love shoes and I love Brian's passion. I can see that he has done the work. He has a great vision and direction for this company, and with my resources and my love for shoes, I feel like I could definitely be an asset. You ready to make this happen?
No.
Deron ultimately decided on investing in Kicks. With this deal, he adds a promising young company in a quickly expanding market to his growing investment portfolio. We'll see you next time on Front Office, presented by UBS.